The AR-15 is one of the most maligned and misunderstood guns in Canada. For Canadian gun owners, the fear is that if a gun ban comes down the pipeline from the federal government, the AR-15 will be the first one to go. There are a few indications that this is a possibility. For one, Bill Blair has refused to rule out that he will, through a cabinet directive, not through Parliament, issue some restriction on firearms. Secondly, Bill Blair has been parroting this absolutely phony logic about guns, that he wants to take aim at guns that are used to hunt people. And more importantly, we have Canadian gun owners responding by buying more of these guns than the market has available. These things are flying off the shelves. Gun stores can't keep AR-15s in stock, and the firearms offices across the country responsible for registering these guns are dealing with major backlogs because of the volume. As a press release from a gun activist group in Canada said, Bill Blair may well be the greatest salesman for the AR-15 in Canada. But I want to deal with the facts of this gun, because this is often heralded as being the paragon of American gun violence by the media and by the left. And for people that have never held one or shot one, they may not have any idea why the so-called facts circulating about the AR-15 are in fact myths. So let's start with the basics. When most people talk about the AR-15, they're not referring to one single gun. There is an AR-15, it's made by Colt, it's a patented name, but for the most part, the AR-15 refers to a style of firearm. And they all, of course, have similarities. You look at variations of it, like the one made by Smith & Wesson, the one made by Colt, the famous Bushmaster. You have Norenko versions that are on the lower end. You have this gun that exists in popularity because it's customizable. People can swap out different parts, you can add on features to it, and this is one of the reasons people love it. It's a very popular firearm because it's fun, it looks cool, and it's enjoyable to shoot, it's lightweight, and it gives you a lot of opportunities as a shooter, whether you're a novice shooter or an advanced sports shooter, to learn and grow and get better at aiming. But one of the things that is most interesting about this discussion is that the AR-15 does not do more than a lot of other guns that are not classed as restricted. Now, a restricted firearm means you need a special license to have it. The government needs to give you authorization to even take it from home to the gun range and back. You can't use it for hunting. But take a look at this gun. Now, this is a Mini 14. It is a non-restricted gun. It shoots a 223 round of ammunition, the same round of ammunition used in many AR-15 models. It shoots it at the same rate of fire. They're both semi-automatic. One's non-restricted and one's restricted. The reason? Well, the AR-15 looks scarier and has thus been classed as restricted. This is the logic of Canadian gun laws. A lot of arbitrary determinations have been made. Take a look at this firearm, for example. This one fires a 50 caliber round. Now, a 50 caliber round is quite giant. You can look at an example of it there. In fact, this is the type of round that's used in many military sniper operations. You could kill someone from 2.5 kilometers away with this gun. It's non-restricted. The AR-15, which is used more for 100 yards, is restricted. Again, arbitrary determinations have been made. So we've talked a little bit about what the AR-15 is in relation to other firearms, but there is an undeniable reality that it's been used in many mass shootings. And this is one of the reasons that if there is a gun ban, this is going to be the first to go. American mass shooters have used the AR-15. What is it about the gun? Nothing other than its popularity. This is no different than saying something like you're more likely to find a Honda Civic or a Toyota Corolla involved in a car accident, not because there's anything more dangerous about those cars, but because they are more popular. Things that exist in the world in higher numbers are more likely to be used in higher numbers in both good and bad applications. So the AR-15 is targeted with misinformation. It's smeared as an assault rifle, and people will even say that's what the AR stands for. It doesn't actually. The AR stands for Armalite Rifle, after the original model on which the civilian AR-15 was based. The AR-15 models that we see in Canada have never been used in war. They were not designed, as Bill Blair might say, to hunt people. They are there for civilians. They're not assault rifles. For one, they don't fire in fully automatic fashion. They fire in semi-automatic fashion. And all that means is that when you shoot it, you're able to shoot it again without manually reloading like you would in a bolt action or a lever action style firearm. So whether Canada will see an AR-15 ban under the guise of an assault weapons ban still stands to be seen, but I want Canadians to have the facts about this. Canadian gun owners, as I mentioned earlier, are very leery of what the government will do. I'm one of the Canadians that's purchased one in the last few weeks just because of this concern that Bill Blair could, based on misinformation and mythology, purge these guns from the Canadian gun owners collectors cabinet. Why own one? People will say. You can't use it for hunting. The reason you can't is because of government, not because it couldn't be used for hunting. And the question of need. For starters, we aren't a society of needs. It's not about needs. Sport shooting is a popular pastime. Millions of firearms exist in Canada legally. There are over 1 million gun owners in Canada that own guns for any number of reasons, from hunting to sport shooting. It's a sport, it's a game, it's fun to do. And the gun owners who partake in this hobby and this pastime are statistically less likely to be involved in any sort of gun crime or any violent incident with firearms than the general population. Government is so much more invested in the mythology of guns than the actual truth of them. The AR-15 is not the enemy of Canada or Canadians. It's a gun like any other, and Canadians should learn a bit about them, especially if they support a ban. For True North, I'm Andrew Lawton.